Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't had your head in the sand, you know that cryptocurrency is going through the roof, and Bitcoin, there are no words. So let's check out our Cloud Mining with Hashflare episode 8 for our Bitcoin mining. So before I get started, I just wanted to say sorry I haven't made a video in a while. Just had a lot of projects at work and that's taken up a lot of time. But I'm real happy to come back and share some of the crazy stuff that's been going on in crypto. And we're here on day 85 of our Hashflare Bitcoin mining. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin and the market in general, which has just been unbelievable. Here's our, let's go to Bitcoin right here. Here's our 30-day view. And, look at where we were back in November around that $6,000 mark, and just, slow and steady wins the race until we decide to just jump up and hit this crazy number of 17.5 that we're at right this minute. I know we've actually peaked a little higher than that, but it's just been pretty nuts. And that has made our Bitcoin mining with Hashflare fantastic. As you know, I also got Bitcoin mining contract with Genesis, which doesn't start till next year. So I got to hope that this trend continues because the profitability is great. In general, because of course, if Bitcoin leads and goes up, Ethereum's going to follow. And finally, Ethereum has really kind of jumped up to that next level. We're at 661 right now, but it peaked at about 680. And it's nice to see that it's finally going somewhere because it was stuck forever in that 3 to 400 or really 3 to 350 range for quite some time. So it's nice to see that. Litecoin, of course, is jumping up just like Bitcoin. And there's a lot, to me, of association with Litecoin and some of the key developers and Bitcoin. So I feel that as time goes by, Litecoin probably is going to go up even higher percentage-wise than Bitcoin because there's just a lot of association with some of the cool things that they're doing. But anyway, let's get right to what's going on at Hashflare. Let's grab the spreadsheet, which of course I'm going right for the good stuff. Nothing else really matters. And here's where we're at. So we're on day 85, as we mentioned. And if we look back, we remember in that first month, we had purchased some hash power, but we kept increasing it during that month until we kind of stabilized at around the 3.3 gigahashes that we're at now. Or I should say terahashes, rather, that we're at now. And so in that first month, we got that 202% forecasted profit because of our actual income versus our original forecast, which said we would make a certain amount of money over the course of the 2 years at Hashflare. So our forecasted number is going to be shattered at this point. Our original forecast said that we would break even at around the 6th month of mining. But as you can see here, we're actually right now at 21% above our cost. So let's just figure out how we did that. We put in $487.50 to buy our hash power. We did do some upgrading at some point, if you'll remember, and whatever reinvesting we did on Hashflare, we decided we were going to go ahead and factor that into the cost because, of course, you're spending the Bitcoin that you've earned and factor that into the hash power. So that's why this number kept changing over time. And we were updating our forecasted monthly every so often to make sure that it was valid based on that day's numbers. But at this point, I think I'm going to leave this number where it was or where it is, just so we can get a comparison view of where we thought we would be and where we are today. So all these numbers, is 202%, 259%, and 251%, are basically the collected data that we go out there every day. We take a look at what we've gotten from Hashflare, what our fees are from Hashflare, highlighting, of course, our top 3 days within that window of time. And, so far as an example this month, we've gotten a net $206. We've got $258 of Bitcoin mining, and we have to pay, of course, maintenance fees of $52. So we've earned $206. Now we know we put $487 in there, so just this month alone gets you close to that 50% mark. So looking at these numbers, let's go back to our analysis page. we've earned $240 in actual income, $317, and $258. And if we slide down here, that gives us a total of $816 minus our fees that we've paid for maintenance, which let's just widen that column a little bit, which is $226.90. We had our cost of $487.50, and we've actually broken even. We've exceeded it by $101, which is why we've got 21% income. So we've made money in just under 3 full months. That's crazy. That's fantastic. That's way better than our 6-month projection. And so because of that, I think it may be time to take a look at reinvesting some of that money that we haven't pulled out of Hashflare just yet and buying some more hashing power. So we're going to go to Hashflare's site and we're going to check out the dashboard and see what that looks like. Before we jump over to the dashboard, let me actually take a look at this a second and just reemphasize something I've been saying all along. Everybody mines a little bit differently. Some people are mining and trying to hold the coin, hence the term hodl, and basically hold that coin because they're forecasting that, down the road, whether it's 1 year, 10 years, 50 years, this is going to be huge numbers. Other people are literally mining and selling, and just getting rid of the coin. The part that's important to note is we've got these numbers of actual income based on today's Bitcoin value of $17,141.50. And even during the video, that number might change and fluctuate. So the key is until you sell it, you haven't actually realized that profit or loss until you sell it. So this is where sometimes the greediness is dangerous, and sometimes the eagerness to sell it is dangerous because you might sell way ahead of the curve and miss out on the bigger opportunity, or you might sell, maybe a little too late when the price already started to plummet. And so that's a dangerous part that you're in, just like what we're about to do in the dashboard, which is to reinvest. Let me see if we've still got that here. If you remember back here when we were first mining, we were taking every so many days the amount of Bitcoin that we earned, and we were buying more hash power. So this reinvestment basically said, I'm banking on Bitcoin. I kept putting it in, and then I said I was going to stop after this particular day here, which was back on October 19th. After that, I really didn't reinvest, but the Bitcoin stayed there where it was. And of course, between then and now, the value of Bitcoin went through the roof. So that money just sitting there did a lot of positive things, including increase in value. And if I go to buy hash power now at the same price I could have bought it on that day, I actually have more value. So I can buy more hash power based on Bitcoin's value today than I could have on the 20th to 21st and every single day between then and now. So there's been a positive effect by not wanting to reinvest and to consider actually taking that money that was earned over that last, let's say, 45 to 50 days and holding on to it and maybe even cashing out, whether it was to cash out to fiat currency, change to something other than Bitcoin, that's all up for debate. But remember, all of these numbers are just fake numbers, so to speak. They're just numbers on a piece of paper, or in this case, numbers in a spreadsheet. There's no value until you cash out. And so since I haven't cashed out yet, it's something to take into consideration. At what point do you cash out and that this number becomes real because you've realized that gain or loss? So again, we've got, a good number ahead of the curve because we basically got beyond our break-even point in this month. And because of the greed factor, and of course I guess I'm going to say the excitement for Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, I want to take into consideration to reinvest. So as you can see here, we've had that slow, steady increase in Bitcoin value. And when I say Bitcoin value, it's how much Bitcoin is in the account. And of course, that's consistent because the actual hash power hasn't changed. And if we go down here, what's interesting is our predicted amount of US dollars that we're going to get on a daily basis. If we went back a few videos, that number could be somewhere in the $100. I remember when it was 104, 111, we thought that number was great. And based on this hashing power, today's value would be $254. So you're talking just about 2.5 times as much money from the same hashing power, or basically the same 3.31 terahash. So one of the things I want to do today is take this I think there's probably about $600 here. So I don't necessarily want to reinvest it all. I guess I'm just going to slide the bar until I feel like it's a good number. And I want to take into consideration that maybe we've got to lock in some of those profits and leave it as Bitcoin and maybe transfer that out and sell it to fiat currency, maybe buy something else. But, lock in some of the profits versus reinvest and go for it all. Because as we know, as the difficulty increases, we're going to not make as much money down the road. But if Bitcoin keeps going up at the astronomical rate it's going, there's no way that every dollar that we reinvest into this is going to hurt us. So having said that, let's go increase this. And as you can see, we're still at the same pricing we were when we started the contract a couple months back. We're at $1.50 for every 10 gigahashes. So let's just keep sliding this number. And I think that's probably around $600 worth of Bitcoin there. And let's go to, what did we say? We had 3.3. So let's go $405 gives us 2.7, and that's going to round this up to 6 terahash, which is a nice number. I'm going to click proceed. And we're going to select our payment method. And we're going to pay from balance. Okay, confirm that we agree with their terms and conditions. Taking a little bit long there to come back. And there we go. So that's a very ugly looking graph, but of course this is only for the balance in the account. So we understand that, sure, we spent, some money on the hash power, and there we go, 6.01 terahash. Now you can take a look here, and I think this number doesn't really update until the next day. So we'll take a look at this, next time we sign on and make sure that that number looks higher. But 6 terahash is sounding like a great number, and if we're going to increase our payout every day, that's going to be fantastic. So when I go back to the original purpose of doing these videos and investigating if cloud mining is profitable, or even mining in general is profitable, there's no question that given the circumstances of the past few months, that Bitcoin is very profitable to mine. Now the key is, can you get a contract? Genesis maybe has the best mining contracts available, and we just did buy that Genesis contract not too long ago, but because they weren't available beforehand, we went to Hashflare, and Hashflare only had the 2 years versus the lifetime mining, so it was a little less profitable, but you could see in the end, bottom line is, it ended up being very profitable, and that's all because of the price of Bitcoin. So I think that cloud mining does work. It depends on the coin and the situation the coin is in. We know we talked a little bit about Ethereum and how maybe it wasn't quite as profitable, and that's because Ethereum's value never really went up. And based on the original numbers that we did when we bought that Ethereum contract, the numbers were a little bit higher, because I think Ethereum was around 340. It never broke past 300 for maybe 40 to 50 days. So that number never really came up until now, where Ethereum is around 360. So I do believe that cloud mining in general is profitable, but you've got to do your research, you've got to know your numbers, and you got to make sure that based on today's situation, it's profitable. Now, if we cashed out of all of this and took our profits, everything else is house money. Everything else we could make would be, nothing but profit. We'll have to readjust these numbers and change the actual hashing power and change the investment amount to reflect the purchase we just made. But, in the end, hopefully over the next 3 months, let's say, if Bitcoin continues to hold around that 17,000 and maybe go up to somewhere between 20 to 25,000, then we should do the same thing and break even within that next 3 months, somewhere around June, which was the original break-even point. And for that, we're just going to have to keep checking back and seeing how it's going. But right now, I'm going to say thumbs up to cloud mining, and definitely when it's Bitcoin. If it's anything else, we've got to do the research. Hopefully you found this informative and you liked it. And for that, I'd appreciate it if you'd give me a thumbs up. If you want to keep up with other videos that we're doing and want to find out whenever we're posting a video, please subscribe. And if you're going to consider using Hashflare, I'd appreciate it if you used our link down below. That'll help us out at the channel and give us a little bit of a reward for signing you up on Hashflare. So I look forward to seeing you guys next time, and I'm definitely looking forward to cryptocurrency going up. Bye.